Stop believing the lie that you have to show skin to grab attention. That is the biggest misconception in American fashion right now. We have been trained by red carpets and Instagram algorithms to think that cutting fabric away is the only way to create allure. But if you actually look at the history of high-end design, from the Gilded Age in New York to the modern ateliers, the real power move isn't exposure. It is architecture. Let's look at this design right here. We are looking at a fully covered silhouette, neck to floor, long sleeves. By standard definitions, this is modest. But is it boring? Absolutely not. It is magnetic. And we need to talk about why, because you understand this, you will never look at clothes the same way again. The first thing you notice is the light. When you are in a fully lit room like this, there is nowhere for a bad design to hide. Shadows can mask a cheap fit, but full spectrum light demands perfection. The genius here is in the texture. When you take away the distraction of skin, the fabric has to do all the talking. Notice the shimmer. It's not just a flat glitter, it's reactive. In luxury engineering, we talk about light throw. It's how the material catches a photon and sends it back to the eye. This dress is built from different types of clothes, pieced together. This is a technique called deconstruction reconstruction. It's huge in the avant-garde scene, but seeing it done with this level of elegance is rare. When you mix fabrics, it looks messy. It looks like a patchwork quilt. But here, the transitions are seamless. It creates a rhythm. You have a matte section absorbing the light, right next to a shimmering section reflecting it. That contrast creates visual vibration. It tricks the eye into seeing movement even when the dummy is standing still. That is the hallmark of expensive design. It's alive. Let's talk about the silhouette. This is where the luxury engineering comes in. The dress covers the full body, but it doesn't swallow the figure. That is a very hard balance to strike. Usually, if you wear something this heavy or this covered, you look like you're wearing a potato sack. The fix. It's all in the waist definition and the shoulder line. See how the fabric pools at the bottom? That's called the break. In menswear, we talk about the break in a pant leg, but in couture gowns, the floor break is essential. It adds weight. It anchors the look. It gives it that statue-like quality. It's grounding. Then you move up to the bodice. Because this is made from different clothes, you have these structural seams that act like an external corset. It's not squeezing, it's guiding. It guides the eye inward. It creates that hourglass shape without needing to be skin tight. That is the difference between cheap spandex and real tailoring. Spandex stretches to fit you. Tailoring is built to hold you. This vibe is very reminiscent of the old money aesthetic that's trending on TikTok, but it's darker. It's moodier. It's not just beige cashmere, it's something almost metallic, almost armor-like. It feels protective. And honest, in the current US market, we are seeing a huge shift toward this. People are tired of flimsy fabrics. We are tired of shirts that fall apart after 3 washes. There is a hunger for weight. We want clothes that feel heavy on the body. This design visually represents that weight. You can feel the gravity of it just by looking at the screen. Think about you would wear this. This isn't a grocery store run. This is a statement. It's for the person who walks into a room and doesn't need to shout to be heard. It commands respect because it implies that you have secrets. You aren't giving everything away at first glance. The way the light hits those different panels creates a sensory experience. You can almost feel the difference in grain between the fabrics. One part looks like a heavy silk, another looks like a treated metallic weave. It's tactile. If you are trying to your own style, you don't need to go out and sew 10 shirts together. But you can, the philosophy, look for texture. Stop buying flat, printed cotton. Look for knits, weaves, pleats, and embroidery. Look for things that interact with the light. When you dress with texture instead of just color, you add three-dimensional depth to your presence. You stop looking like a flat image and start looking like a person with substance. This design on the dummy proves that coverage is sexy. It proves that complexity is beautiful. And it proves that you take disparate, different elements and unify them into something singular and stunning. If you appreciate the art of structure and you're looking to add some serious gravity to your wardrobe, pay attention to pieces like this. It's not just a dress, it's a study in composition. It's worth looking into if you want your style to speak a little louder without saying a word. Let's keep that camera moving. We're watching this slow pan, and as the angle changes, the story changes. This is the beauty of a fully lit room. Usually, designers want moody lighting to set a scene, but here, the clinical brightness is doing something very honest. It's showing us the geography of the garment. We talked about the silhouette being modest, but now look at the surface tension. The prompt tells us this design is made from different types of clothes. In the industry, we call this curated chaos. It's very easy to take 5 different shirts and sew them together and have it look like a craft project. It is incredibly difficult to take 5 different garments and turn them into a singular gown that looks like it belongs in the Metropolitan Museum of Art. As the view pans down the torso, look at visual friction. This is a concept that is defining the new wave of American luxury. Visual friction happens when you place two opposing textures right next to each other. Think about a rough, heavy wool sitting directly against a liquid satin, or a rigid denim stitched into a delicate lace. In this design, that friction is what keeps your eye moving. If this dress were all one fabric, let's say, just a plain black cotton, your eye would scan it once, bored, and move on. But because we have these shimmering panels interlocking with matte sections, your brain is constantly trying to resolve the image. It engages you. It forces you to pay attention. This is actually a trick used in high-end interior design in places like Los Angeles and Miami, and now we are seeing it translate to the body. It's about creating zones of interest. The shimmering parts catch the high keys of the light, acting almost like jewelry. You don't even need a necklace with a dress like this, because the fabric itself is doing the heavy lifting. Now, imagine the sound. We are a static dummy, but fashion is kinetic. It moves. When a dress has this much volume and this much structural variety, it creates a specific auditory signature. We call it the swish. Cheap fabrics don't swish, they rustle like plastic bags. But a heavy, engineered fabrics, like the ones we are seeing here, they have a low-frequency sound when they brush against the floor or against each other. It's a sound that signals quality. It's subconscious. But when you walk into a room wearing something like this, people hear the quality before they even fully process the look. Let's focus on the sleeves for a second. They are long. They extend fully. In a world where fast fashion is constantly trying to save money by using less fabric, seeing generous, elongated sleeves is a sign of luxury. It says, "We didn't cut corners." The fabric gathers slightly at the wrist, creating that soft, billowy effect that contrasts with the structure of the bodice. This design also touches on a huge movement happening in the States right now regarding sustainability, but not in the boring, lecture-heavy way. It's about elevated upcycling. By using different types of clothes to build one masterpiece, this design is basically saying that the future of fashion isn't about manufacturing new raw materials. It's about reimagining what we already have. It turns the garment into a collage of history. If you look closely at the midsection during the pan, you can see seams align. This is the architecture I mentioned earlier. The grain lines of the fabric, the direction the threads run, are likely placed in opposing directions. One panel runs vertical, the next runs on the bias, which means diagonal. Why does that matter? Because it hits the light. When you cut fabric on the bias, it reflects light differently than when it's cut straight. This creates a phantom pattern. There is no print on this dress. There are no flowers, no logos, no stripes. The pattern is created entirely by the physics of the weave interacting with the light source. That is the definition of sophisticated style. It's quiet, but it's loud to the people who know what to look for. This is the kind of piece that solves the nothing to wear problem. We all have closets full of clothes but nothing to wear because everything feels disposable. Everything feels temporary. A piece like this, with its full coverage and complex texture, feels permanent. It feels like armor. When you wear that covers the full body, you control the narrative. You aren't relying on your body type to make the outfit work. The outfit is working for you. It stands own. It's sculpture. Um, as we finish this visual scan, think about your own wardrobe. Do you have pieces that offer this level of visual friction? Do you have items play with light, or are they all absorbing it? You don't need to be walking a runway to apply this. It's about choosing fabrics that have life in them. If you are tired of the flat, disposable look that has taken over the malls, looking into structural, textured, fully covered designs like this might be the refresh you need. It's elegant, it's commanding, and it proves that you don't need to show everything to be the most interesting person in the room. If this vibe resonates with you, it's worth exploring deeper. Style is a language, and a dress like this has a very rich vocabulary.